In the declining weeks of the Boris Johnson Prime Ministership, all kinds of weird incongruities emerged on the British political scene as, mired in scandal, the Prime Minister desperately tried to continue, while more and more of his erstwhile supporters decided to valiantly throw themselves on their swords in a desperate attempt to show that they had some kind of moral compass. And it became almost like an operatic farce because the numbers just increased and increased. You know, you could go out for a glass of orange juice and come back and find that 50 had gone.
I'm terribly sorry, we have to stop there. Rishi Sunak has resigned, the Chancellor has resigned, that is it.
In the middle of all this was a very weird Prime Minister's question time, when it wasn't the Prime Minister at all, it was the Deputy Leader of the Conservative Party, Dominic Raab, and he decided to berate Angela Rayner, the Deputy Leader of the Labour Party, for going to Glyndebourne. And the accusations seem to construct around the idea that Angela Rayner was somehow betraying her working class roots by sipping champagne at Glyndebourne.
Where was she when the Labour front bench were joining them rather than standing up for the public? She was at the Glyndebourne Music Festival, sipping champagne.
It's a teeny bit hypocritical of Dominic Raab to make the champagne observation, given that he must himself have sipped quite a few glasses of champagne over the past 6 months. But we'll leave that for more important matters. And that's the accusation of some sort of betrayal of class identity. Well, the interesting thing here is that Angela Rayner was attending a performance of Mozart's Marriage of Figaro. Marriage of Figaro is an opera that Mozart wrote in 1786 with his Italian librettist Lorenzo da Ponte, and it's about class struggle in which the corrupt ruling class are habitually bullying and behaving in a sexually predatory manner. Again, completely habitually, it's simply what they do. And the opera is all about a count who is basically trying to seduce the heroine, Susanna. But it's the working people in the opera, including Susanna and her future husband Figaro, who call the ruling class to account. It's a kind of opera about class struggle, but it's framed in such a beautiful, elegant, funny, mischievous, humane, miraculous way by Mozart. It doesn't feel like it's about class struggle exactly, it just feels like it's an opera about humanity. And in fact, the play on which the opera was based was banned in Paris because of its revolutionary implications. Literally revolutionary implications, because the French Revolution happened within a couple of years of the play being produced. This is really marvellously subversive stuff, and it's absolutely appropriate that Angela Rayner should attend such a performance. And by the way, as she made clear in a tweet, she was invited by a violinist friend from a working class background himself, and her ticket did not cost a great deal. I think it was £62. Angela Rayner herself responded rather brilliantly in her tweet, "My advice to the Deputy Prime Minister is to cut out the snobbery and brush up on his opera. The Marriage of Figaro is the story of a working class woman who gets the better of a privileged but dim-witted villain." It's interesting that Angela Rayner used the word snobbery there, because I suppose there is beneath Dominic Raab's populist accusations in the House of Commons, behind it there's a kind of snobbery.
Niles, do you think I'm elitist?
Of course I do. You needn't worry about that.
No, not in the good way.
Because really the implication is that opera is the preserve of rich people, the preserve of people who go to private school or who work in the City of London or whatever, people who used to attend the Bullingdon Club when they were younger, all that stuff. I hate this, because opera is not like that. If you live in Italy, opera's for everybody.
Figaro he, Figaro ha, Figaro he, Figaro ah.
And it should be like that in this country. Opera is for everybody. When Mozart wrote The Marriage of Figaro, he didn't write it for rich people, or at least that wasn't the intention. It's an opera for humanity. I hate the association of musical genre with class. It's a hideous thing, and in this country it's particularly hideous.
But something I've always wanted to know, Grayson. Do the working classes in the East End smell?
Yes, most frightfully.
Thank you. You've reassured me. I won't go there.
Behind Dominic Raab's observation is all that latent snobbery and philistinism. It's just philistinism. That's all I have to say about that. Except one last observation. Mozart's Marriage of Figaro I've been talking about, an opera in which the ruling classes are called to account. Somehow that feels like a clarion call from the 1780s to our present era. We live in a period in which the ruling class seems to me to be ever more able to get on with being a permanent ruling class without being able to be questioned, without being able to be challenged. That's a terrible state of affairs. We need to be able to challenge the ruling class. And it's so relevant now, what Mozart is saying in the Marriage of Figaro. So, there's a short video about the decline of Boris Johnson and the significance of the Marriage of Figaro.
But you're not very important, so I can't be bothered to talk to you. Do you see?